Welcome to this edition of Ask Klein Math. In today's Ask Klein Math video, we're going to be learning about our TEKS 1.2c, where we're going to represent numbers with objects and pictures. We're going to start with numbers that go to 50, and then we're going to increase as this TEKS increases to numbers all the way to 120. In this particular portion of the TEKS, it asks us to represent the numbers with objects and pictures. So the best way that we can do that is with our base 10 blocks. So we're going to take a look at these numbers that are represented to us in pictures of base 10 blocks. So when we look at these, we're actually talking about the number of tens and the number of ones that we see represented. Then we're going to put those together and write our number in standard form. So for example, with this one, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 tens rods. So we have 4 tens, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ones. So we're going to list our 4 tens and our 8 ones. When we count 4 tens and 8 ones, and we put those together, we have the number 48. 4 tens is the same as 10, 20, 30, 40, 40, and then 8 ones. So our number is 48. All right, let's look at another one. The next one that we have is got 2 10 rods and 2 ones blocks. So we're going to put down our 2 tens and our 2 ones blocks. That's really easy to see. But then what is our number? Well, let's count what these represent. So when we have tens rods, we count by tens. 10, 20. And then when we have ones blocks, we count on by ones. So that's 10, 20, 21, 22. So the number this represents is 22. Another great way that we can represent this with objects and pictures is to use something like our example at the bottom. So it says that Kim wrote the number 11. This says to use mental math, but we're actually going to model this and show what we know with our objects, our base 10 blocks. So she wrote the number 11. When I see the number 11, I see 1 10 and 1 1. So I'm going to model that number 11, 1 10 and 1 1. Then the question says, what if I had 2 more 10s than 11? So here's my 11 I have built, but now I'm being asked to add 2 more 10s. So I'm going to add 2 more 10s rods, and I'm going to see what my new number is that I have modeled. Again, when I see a 10s rod, I'm going to count by 10s. So I have 10, 20, 30, and the 1 1 that's left. So I have 31. I have 3 10s now and 1 1. I'm going to go back to my 11. That was my original number. And now it asks me for 1 more 10 than 11. So if I have 1 10 here, I'm going to add 1 more. Then I'm going to count my number that I've represented. Count by 10s when I have a 10s rod. 10, 20, and 1 more, 21 is my new number that I've created. I'm going to go back to my original number 11. That's where I started. And this time it asks me to add 3 more 10s than 11. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3 more 10s than 11. Again, I'm going to count this number that I've represented with my model, and I'm going to start by counting by 10s for my 10 rods. 10, 20, 30, 40, 41. I love being able to see models and pictures to help me represent my numbers. Along with that, I also love looking at sometimes the model and picture that is trying to make me really, really think. So in this case, I'm going to look at this problem that says there are 26 letters in the alphabet, which shows the number 26. Well, I want us to look at all of these models before we make a decision. Here we have 2 10s and 2 1s. Here we have 2 10s and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1s. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 10s and 2 1s. So they took the number that was the numerals that were in our number 2 and 6, and they've mixed this all up and shown it to us many ways. We have to be really careful when we look at this number. So what I like to do is I like to draw a tiny little chart in here and put my 10s and my 1s in a tiny little chart. And this helps me know what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for a number that has 2 10s. Well, let's look at this representation. Does this one have 2 10s? Yes, it does. So I could put a little check mark down there. I see 2 10s. How about this one? 2 10s? Yes, it does. I see 2 10s. Now, how about this one? Do I see 2 10s? No, where I see 2 here is over in the ones column. I know that's wrong. I'm not looking for 2 1s. I'm looking for 2 10s. So I can eliminate this answer choice because I know it's going to be incorrect. But I'm going to go back to my 2 choices that had 2 10s. Now I'm going to look in my ones column. I need to have 6 1s. Do I have 6 1s in this one? Nope, this model only shows me 2 1s. So I'm going to put an X there. Do I have 6 1s here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So look, I have the right number of 10s and the right number of 1s. That helps me make a good choice for the correct answer. All right, the other way that we are going to use 1.2c is to represent numbers using expanded form and standard form. Expanded form is just thinking about adding all the parts of our model together. When we think about a model or a representation of a number, what we're really doing is we're adding the pieces together to make our number. So when we look at a model that looks like this, we know that the block represents 100. We know that a stick in our model represents 10, a 10 rod, and we know that the dots represent ones. So we're going to look at how many of each of these blocks are representing, okay? So as we look at this, we're looking at the 100 block. How many 100 blocks do we see? We only see 1. So we have 100 block. Then it asks us about our 10 rods. Well, let's go back to our model. How many 10s rods do we see? I only see 1. So I'm going to put 1 10 rod there. Then how many 1s dots do I see? 1, 2, 3. I see 3 1s. Then I'm going to write this exactly like I'm reading it. So this tells me I have 100. I'm going to write the number I just said, 100. So I'm going to write that number in my blank right here. 100 was the number that I just said. If I have 110, that's 10. When I count by tens, only one of them, I start counting by tens, 10. So I'm going to write down the number 10 that I just said. And then I have 3 1s. So I'm going to write down my 3 1s because I just said the number 3. So I have 100 plus 10 plus 3. A 100 plus a 10 plus 3. Now I'm going to think about it as place value. So I'm going to draw myself a tiny place value chart where I have hundreds, tens and ones. And I'm going to put this information that I had into my place value chart. I have 100, I have 110, and I have 3 ones. And look at that, just like magic. Here is my standard form of the number 113. That's the number that was represented by my model. And it shows itself to me like magic when I put it into my HTO chart, my place value chart. All right. I also love this problem right here. It says that Lev has 9 tens. Jim has 110. They put all their tens together. Dawn puts 9 ones with the tens. What number did they make? Okay, I need my colorful markers to do this, and I am going to draw a picture of this so that I can make it all make sense. So I'm going to start with the first thing it told me was that Lev had 9 tens, and I'm going to underline that with my blue marker because that's what I'm going to draw first. I'm going to draw 9 tens. So here I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then I'm going to change my marker because I have some new information about another person. Now my information has changed to Jim, and it says Jim has 110. Well, I'm going to draw that other 10 with my new color marker. So that's another 10 that he has out there. And it says then they put all their tens together. All right, here we go. Let's get another marker, and we're going to put all of our tens together. So let's draw a big box around them, and we're going to put all of our tens together. When we put all of our tens together, we can count them and see how many we have. We have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I'm going to write myself a note because I just made a 100 block out of all of those, a 100 flat with all of my tens that I put together. So when I look at this now, how many hundreds do I have? Well, I have 100 block, right? Then it says to me, so this is putting all my tens together. Then it says to me that Dawn puts 9 ones with the 10. So I'm going to go in with Dawn's, and I'm going to put my ones here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So how many? That's her 9 ones that I put there with the tens. And then it asks me, what number did they make? Well, there's a couple ways that I can write this. So if I look at it the first way, I might say that I have 100 because I put all my tens together and I made 100. When I put them all together, do I have any more tens out here? I don't. So I have 0 tens right now because I put them all together with the 100, and then I have my 9 ones. But look, I could write it this way as well. What if I didn't put all my tens together and make 100 flat? Then I would have 0 hundred, and I would have all of my tens. How many of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would have 10 tens. And I would still have my 9 ones. Lucky for me that as a really smart first grader, I know that 10 tens makes 100. So I'm going to understand that those 10 tens that I had, they're going to go together and make 100. So if I'm going to write this like I have it here with my hundreds, I'm going to write that I have 100, 0 tens, and 9 ones. So I'm going to go to my place value chart, my HTO chart, and I'm going to plug my numbers in and see if my magic standard form comes to light. So I have 100, I have 0 tens, and I have 9 ones, and look, just like that, there is my magic standard form of the number 109. Keep working hard and modeling and drawing pictures. Use your base 10 block and have a lot of fun with your HTO chart as it shows you the magic of standard form. Enjoy working on representing your numbers.